Hello guys, so let's start with this session. It's very important, so don't skip this. So question number one. Um, Ram borrowed 10,000 rupees from Siddharth, 10% per annum for 1.5 years compounded annually. Okay, Ram lends the sum to Ravi at same rate for same time period, but interest compounded half yearly. Find the money saved by Ram in the complete transaction. Okay, this we can solve by two methods. First, let me discuss the basic method. Basically, in this video, we'll be solving the half yearly, quarterly, etc. Those kind of questions. So first method. Principle is 10,000. Okay, rate of interest is 10%. If 10%, so first year he'll be getting 10% of 10,000 is 1,000 as interest, and second year he'll be getting 10% of the principal 1,000 and 10% of the interest, that is 100. These parts I have already discussed in the previous videos, the basic of CI table. Watch that if you are not able to follow. So this is basically first year and this is second year. Okay, but I don't need of 2 years, I need of 1.5 years, as the question is saying 1.5 years. So I'll simply multiply this by half, because this is first year and this is of second year complete year, but I need of half year, so I multiply with 1 by 2. So this is 500 and this is 50. So total CI is 1550, right? This much compound interest he will have to pay after 1.5 years if compounded annually. Now second case, Ram lends the sum to Ravi at same rate, means at 10% rate, for same time period, means again for 1.5 years, but this time interest compounded half yearly. If interest will be compounded half yearly, yearly compounding rate is 10%. If compounded for 12 months, the rate is 10%. If it is compounded for half year, means for 6 months, then obviously rate will be 5%, isn't it? Rate will be 5% because it is compounded half yearly. If rate is 5% and it's compounded half yearly, how many half year, how many 6-month periods are there in 1 year? Two 6 month periods, okay, in 1 year. But we need for 1.5 years. For 1.5 years, how many 6-month periods are there? There are three 6 month periods, right? 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 18 months, right? That is 1.5 years. I hope this part is clear. Now let's solve this. 10,000, 5% per annum, that is 5% is how much? 10% is 1,000, 5% is 500. And this is again for second year, it is for second, this is basically for first 6 months. For next 6 months 500, and again 5% of this, that is 25, right? After that for next 6 months, that is for next 6 months, it is 5% of the principal, that is 500 again, and 5% of 500, that is 25. 5% of this interest of all the interests, this I have already covered in the last video, and again 5% of this is 1.25. How am I calculating this first? Because see, 10% of 25 is how much? 2.5. So 5% will be half of that, 1.25, right? Okay, so here the interest is coming out to be how much? This is 1576.25, right? Here CI is 1576.25. So the difference is how much? This part is 1500, this is 1576.25. So difference is 26.25. This is the money saved by Ram in the complete transaction. I hope this part is clear. Now let's move to method 2. Method 2 will be, I'll just work with the rates. Okay, I'll simply work with the rates. I have nothing to do with 10,000. I will not calculate in every step. I'll simply start with the rates. 10%, 10% for first year, for second year again 10%, and 10% of 10%, that is 1%. But this is for 2 years, but I need for half year, so half multiply, I'll multiply half. This is this is 5% and this is 0.5%, so it is 15.5%, right, in second case. Now moving to the second case. Second case will be half yearly compounding. Per annum it is 10%, so half year will be 5%, and it is 1.5 years, means 3 half year periods are there in 1.5 years. So for first half year period, that is 5%. For next half year period, again 5%, and 5% of 5%, that is 0.25%. For next half year, again 5%, and this 5% of 5%, 0.25%, again 5%, this is 0.25%, and this part will be 5%, means 0.5 into 25%, that is 0.0125%. okay, 0.0125%. guys, I have already solved this CI table basics. I have already solved in first 3 videos. okay, so I am moving very fast here. So here the interest here percentage how much? See, rate is 15.75, means this is 15.7625%. so the difference is how much? This case it is 15.7625%, here it is 15.5%. so the difference is 0.2625%, 0.2625%, 0.2625% of principal is 10,000, so that will be 26.25%. I simply did 0.2625%, means 0.2625 by 100 into 10,000, that will come out to be 26.25. I hope this part is clear. This is method 2. Now let's move to the next question. Okay, now this is also a simple one. Find the difference between compounded interest in 1 year at 15% per annum on 20,000 when interest is compounded every 4 months, and second case is when interest is compounded every 6 months respectively. Okay, and the difference between compound interest received in 1 year. Okay, 1 year. Okay, fine. Let me directly do by the method 2 here. Directly with the rates I will do. You try by 20,000. The first method you try yourself. Okay, that I have already explained. That will be lengthy. I am just doing by the percentage parts, means only the rate. Okay, first 15% is per annum. Okay, first case interest is compounded every 4 months. okay, first case interest is compounded in every 4 months. How many 4-month period are there in 1 year? 3 4-month periods are there. For 12 months I am getting 15% rate. okay, 12 months means basically for 1 year you have 15%. so in 4 months the rate will be 5%, isn't it? 4 months the rate will be 5%. And how many 4-month period are there in 1 year? 3 4-month periods. okay, so 5% is first, second case is again 5%, and 5% of 5%, that is 0.25%, and another 4-month period, last 4-month period, that is again 5%, 0.25%, means 5% of this every interest, again 5% of 5%, that is again 0.25%, and again 5% of 0.25, that is 0.0125%. so total it is coming out to be how much? This part is completely coming out to be, by summing up, if you add all of this, it will come out to be how much? This is percentage is basically 15.7625, 15.7625%, right, when interest is compounded every 4 months. Now let's move into the second case. When interest is compounded in every 6 months, how many 6-month periods are there in 1 year? 2 6-month periods, right? 2 6-month periods. For 12 months, basically for 1 year interest rate is 15%. For 6 months interest rate will be half, that is 7.5%. And there are two 6 months period in 1 year. So first 6 month period 7.5%, second 6 month period will be 7.5%, and 7.5% of 7.5%. Okay, 7.5% of 7.5%. Okay, that is 7.5% is how much? That is 0.075 into 75%. 75 into 75. 75 square is how much? 7 into 8, 56, 5625. Vedic maths. Okay. So this will be coming out to be 0.5625. Guys, these are very simple things. I am just doing square. I hope you know these things. These are very simple things. Okay. So this is coming out to be how much? This is 15.5625. 15.5625%. So the difference is how much? The difference is 0.2, 0.2%, 0.2% of what? Of the principal. Principal is 20,000. 20,000. So 20,000, 0.2% is how much? 40. So 40 is your answer. Okay, I hope this part is clear. By the basic method, you try by yourself. Okay, in the first 3 videos I've already discussed a lot of that. Now moving to the next question. Okay, now this is find the compound interest. Found the compound interest on, that is on I have missed. Find the compound on rupees 80,000 at 2% per annum for 1.5 years when interest is compounded half yearly. Okay, interest is compounded half yearly. Per annum rate is 2%. So half year rate will be 1%. Okay, half year time period is 1.5 years. How many half year periods I have in 1.5 years? 3 half year periods, right? So guys, we will be solving so many questions that everything will be cleared. Okay, if you are unable to follow, then no need to worry. Just comment in the comment section to solve even more questions. I'll be solving so many questions that you will have no doubt left. See, okay, 80,000 and compounded half yearly means this is 1% rate, and the first interest will be for first 6 month period. The rate will be interest will be 1% of this. For second 6 month period it will be 800, and again 1% of this. This is 8. For third part will be third 6 month period will be, because 1.5 years is 3 half years. Okay, so this is 800, and this is 8. This is 8, and this is 8. 1% of 8, that is 0.08. Okay, now summing of all of this will give me the answer. Summing of all of this will come out to be how much? This will come out to be 2424.08. That is my answer. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Now let's move to the next question. Okay, now this is find the compound interest on 64,000 for 5% per annum for 1.5 years, compounded half yearly. Okay, again compounding is done half yearly. Per annum rate is 5%. So for half year the rate will be 2.5%. This is the rate. Principal is 64,000, and as it is 1.5 years, I know 1.5 years has 3 half years, means compounding will be done 3 times. Okay, so first time will be 2.5% of 64,000. 10% of 64,000 is how much? 6,400. 5% will be how much? 3,200. So 2.5 will be how much? 1,600. Right? This is the way you will be calculating percentage. Now again, for next half period it will be 1,600, and 2.5% of 1,600, that is 40. For third half year it will be 1,600, and 2.5% of 1,600 is 40. Again 2.5% is 40, and again 2.5% of 40. 10% of 40 is 4, 5% is 2, so 2.5% is 1. This one. So the answer will be, this is coming out to how much? 4921. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Okay, next question is, find CI on 84,000. Find CI on 84,000 at 30% per annum. At 30% per annum, when interest is compounded in every 4 months. Okay, interest is compounded in every 4 months. How many 4 months I have in 1 year, guys? I have 3 4-month periods in 1 year. Okay, for annum, per annum means per 12 months the rate is 30%. So for 4 months that will be 10%. The rate has to be 10% because 12 months means for 1 year, 1 year or 12 months. For 12 months the rate is 30%. So for 4 months it will be 1/3. That will be 10%, right? 10% of what? Principal. Principal is 84,000, right? 80%, 10%. And how many 4 months periods are there in 1 year? 3 4-month period are there. So 3 times compounding will be done 3 times. So 10% of 84,000, that is 8400. Okay, I hope this part is clear, guys. Now 10% 8400, and again 10% of this, it is 840. Next time again 10% of the principal is 8400, and 10% of first interest 840. 10% of this is again 840, and 10% of this is 84. So summation of all of this is, this part is 84 into 3. This is 840 plus 12. This is 250 to 252 00 252 00, and next is 2520, and third is 84. The summation is coming out to be how much? 27804. This is the answer. Okay, now let's move to next question, guys. Guys, I'm moving fast because these things I have already covered in first 3 videos. Okay, the basics part. So I hope you are clear with the things. So I'm moving a bit fast. Now question number 6. Question number 6 says, find what? CI on 16,000 for 4.5 months at 20% per annum when interest is compounded quarterly. Okay, interest is compounded quarterly. Guys, how many quarters we have in 1 year? Quarter means 4 months period. Basically we have 4 months periods, right? 4 3 months periods in 1 year. Okay, quarterly means basically by 4. Okay, for 12 months you have 20% is the rate. So for quarter you will be having 20 by 4, that is 5%. These are simple things, guys. So 5% per quarter. For 12 months 20% is the rate. For 3 months, quarter means 3 months. Okay, for 3 months it will be by 4. 20 by 4 is 5%. Okay, 5% of what? Of 16,000 is the principal, and it is compounded for. So we have basically how many quarters? I have 4 quarters, but we don't have to find for 1 year. We have to find for 4.5 months. Okay, interest is compounded every 3 months. So first interest will be 5% of 16,000, that is 800. How? 10% is 1600, so 5% will be 800. This 800 is the interest for 3 months. 1 quarter is 3 months, guys. For next 3 months it will be 800, means 5% of the principal and 5% of first interest. That is how much? That is 40, guys. 40. Okay, for first 3 months this is the interest. For next 3 months this is the interest. So total for 6 months this is the interest. This complete interest, guys, this complete interest, it is for 6 months, guys. But I don't need for 6 months, I need for 4.5 months. Means first interest is as such 3 months will remain, but next 3 months I'll simply multiply with half, because I need for 1.5 months. For this 3 months I don't need, I need only for 1.5 months, because 3 months plus 1.5 months, it's giving me 4.5 months. So this is coming out to be 400 and this is 20. So this is how much? This is basically 1220. This is my answer, guys. Okay, let's move to the next question. Okay, now this is the next question, question number 7. Again a simple question, guys. Find the CI on 25,000 at 8% per annum for 7.5 months. Okay, the time period is 7.5 months, guys, when interest is compounded quarterly. Okay, for 1 year, interest rate is 8%. For quarter, 4 quarters are there, for quarter it will be 2%, right? For quarter it will be 2%. 1 quarter is 3 months, isn't it? 2% rate is quarterly rate. Okay, but we don't need for 1 year, the time period is 7.5 months, right? Okay, let's start. Principal is 25,000 and for 1 quarter means 2%. So for first 3 month period, the interest will be 2% of 25,000, that is 500. For next 3 months, it will be 2% of principal means 500 and 2% of 500. Okay, 2% of 500, 1% is 5, 2% is 10. For next 3 months, guys, the interest is 500 and then 2% of 500, this is 10, 2% of this is again 10 and 2% of 10, that is how much? 0.2. 0.2. Okay, this is first 3 months, this is next 3 months, this is next 3 months, and this is again 3 months. Total 9 months I am finding out, but I need for 7.5 months, means first 6 months is intact, but for last 3 months I'll just have to multiply with 1 by 2, because 3 months, 6 months plus 1.5 months, that is 7.5 months. Okay guys, I hope this part is clear. This is 250, this is 5, this is 5, this is 0.1. So simply add all of this. By adding all of this, I am getting how much? This is 1270.1. Okay, 1270.1. This is my answer. Let's move to the next page. Okay, now this is again a simple one. Find the annual effective rate of interest when 6% per annum is compounded half yearly. Okay, annual effective rate of interest. Okay, it is asking annual effective rate of interest when 6% per annum is compounded half yearly. Okay, 6% per annum, but half year the interest rate will be how much? 3%. For first half year it is 3%, for next half year it is 3%, and 3% of 3%, that is how much? That is 0.09%, right? So effective 1 year, this is for first 6 months, this is for next 6 months, so total is 6.09%. This is the effective annual rate of interest when 6% is compounded half yearly. I hope this part is clear, guys. Okay, simple one. Now let's move to the next question. Okay, now this is find the effective annual rate of compound interest when 30% per annum is compounded in every 4 months. Okay, find the effective annual rate of interest when 30% per annum is compounded in every 4 months, guys. Okay, how many 4-month periods are there, guys, in 1 year? 3 4-month periods. For 12 months rate is 30%, so for 4 months the rate has to be 10%, isn't it? Rate has to be 10%. we need the effective annual rate. Okay, so for first 4 months it is 10%, next will be again 10%, and 10% of 10%, that is 1%. Okay, for next 4 months, and for last 4 months, that is 10%. This is 10% of 10%, 1%, 10% of 10%, again 1%, and 10% of 1%, that is 0.1%. So effective annual rate is summation of all of this. That is coming out to be how much, guys? That is coming out to be 30, 30, 31, 33, 33.5.